My dear wonderful brothers and sisters, we've actually seen in some of the videos that I shared about what exactly is happening in the world today. A lot of things are happening in the world today, and at times if it finds that somebody has no faith, you will be actually disturbed. Leave alone just emotional and spiritual challenges, but also there are these vivid challenges that we can see that are happening physically in the world today. And these are some of the things that a prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints actually warned and spoke about when he gave a talk, and the talk was entitled "Prepare for the Days of the Tribulation." And he spoke about what exactly will happen in the whole world. And these are some of the things that you will just pick from this talk. And please, I will urge you, if you have time, you can go and listen to this talk so that you can understand what the prophet really spoke about during that time. And this was actually President Ezra Taft Benson, who was actually a prophet, seer, and revelator of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in those days. Please welcome.
We heard it done effectively in that great welfare meeting this morning. May I add just a word? Members of the church are feeling the economic pinch of higher taxes and inflation, coupled with conditions of continuing recession. Some have come to their bishops seeking assistance to make house payments, car loans, and utilities. Unfortunately, there has been fostered in the minds of some an expectation that when we experience hard times, when we have been unwise and extravagant with our resources and have lived beyond our means, we should look to either the church or government to bail us out. Forgotten by some of our members is an underlying principle of the church welfare plan that, quote, no true Latter-day Saint will, while physically able, voluntarily shift from himself the burden of his own support. One of the first principles revealed to Father Adam when he was driven out of the Garden of Eden was this: in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return to the ground. All we obtain in life of a material nature comes as a product of labor and the providence of God. Work alone produces life's necessities.
So this is one of the talks that President Ezra Taft Benson gave during that time. And he was actually advising the saints on how to prepare for the days ahead. Okay? That is, if somebody is working, please, you must have actually foresight. In other words, save for rainy days. And also ensure that you live within your budget. And then cut unnecessary expenditures that you're incurring in your life. Because there are some things people will just use money, but when they buy them, they end up realizing that they didn't even need it. But they only bought it simply because they were moved to buy it. And these are some of the things that the prophet was saying. As saints, we need to be disciplined in the way we spend our money and also in the way we actually save. And that is how we prepare for the tribulations ahead, because we do not know what exactly is coming ahead. Now, when you continue listening to this talk, there are areas also is mentioning about like preparing, for example, having enough food, storing enough food, having your own food bank in the house. Because at times people will save money in these banks, but when a tribulation comes, like let's say there is a war outbreak, okay, your money will not save you. Because during war, people only need water. They need food to eat. People need water. People need food. Shops are closed. There is nowhere you can go and buy things. Money becomes useless. And he's actually counseling people need to prepare to actually have their own food banks in their homes. Have their own food banks in their homes, because where we are heading right now, the way the world is and where we are heading, things are really going to be tough. Because if you look at the economical conditions of things are very tough. Yeah, things are very tough. Today we had a baptism in the church today. Yeah, we had a baptism in the church today. And the sister who was being baptized, we gave her an opportunity to bear testimonies of how she feels after baptism. And what she shared was actually very, very, very shocking. Very shocking. What she shared was very shocking, because she says she has actually gone through schooling. In fact, she has masters in communication, and she had also a degree in conflict management. And she's done masters in communication. But she can't even find a job. She can't find a job. Because you look at the status of countries and governments today, is that you can only get a job if you're connected. So irrespective of how much you're qualified, somebody will rather employ his native, his tribesman, or maybe his family person, simply because they come from the same place. Whether they are qualified or not, that is none of their business, as long as they've secured a position. But you find there are a lot of qualified people outside there who've not secured a job. They're just languishing outside there simply because they are not connected. That is one type of a tribulation. But what President Benson is saying, that the saints need to prepare themselves for better ways, because if you live beyond your means, what happens is that you are in bondage. Okay? If you live beyond your means, what happens is that you are in bondage, because every now and then you will be working towards settling bills that you could not afford. So life becomes a cycle to you because you're already in bondage. And that is something that you need to relieve yourself from, irrespective of how many times you think you've received the Holy Spirit of God. But there are some things which are just common sense, which you need actually to get yourself out of. And issues to do with food bank. We need to have food banks in our homes. When you need to have stored enough water in our homes, because we do not know what exactly is coming to happen in future. We don't. So that if we have those food banks, we can be of service to other people, especially those that might actually be in need as at that time. And you will be actually of service to them. And that's what the Lord really requires of us, that we need to be very, very careful, because we do not know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. So what do? Keep enough food, store enough water in your house. Ensure you have, in case maybe electricity is not there, do you have an alternative? Do you have an alternative? Because I've seen people buying these small solar panels. They are putting it there for emergency. In case electricity is shut down, they have their own solar panels and they can still continue working. Now, these are some of the things that we need to make sure we put ourselves into considerations, because either a natural calamity will strike, like the other time we experienced it, a pandemic really strike, and people saw what really happened. At the same time, also maybe we've seen what happens, either a volcanic eruption can happen, or even an outbreak of war. What will you do? Because I've seen people running, and they could not run. They are running for their lives. And during that time, they don't ask for money. They are asking for food, or they are asking for water. That is the time you need to keep yourself ready. Keep yourself ready. There was an individual who was saying that why should it be so important for me to struggle, saving food and all that? And when a disaster strikes, definitely there will be robbers who will just come and steal all your food and go away with it. So why will you keep food in your house when all these people will just come in and break everything and take everything that you have? You know? And I like an answer of one sister also asked him about it. The sister asked asked that brother, that's, suppose you have grandchildren in your house and something like this strike, and a grandchild comes to you and asks you, did you keep anything for us, grandpa? How will you feel when you have nothing in your house and those children are looking up to you? How will you feel? So this is actually a clarion call. We need exactly to ensure that we listen to the prophets and live a life of always seeing the future. Don't just live now. Live a life of seeing what will happen in the future, because that is how the children of God are actually kept. Because in future, what will happen? And if it so happen, how will I be? Or how will my people be? That is how you live your life. And I thank God today that we have living prophets who are actually guiding us and helping us to understand things. And they're also showing us the way. And that is one thing that I'm always grateful to have been a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you. And I will see you forward again in the next video. Please have a nice day.